When you paint or make something, you don't know if anyone will ever actually perceive anything similar to what you perceive, or feel the same emotions you feel from your art. No artist knows if something they make will strike a chord with anyone other than themselves at all. Someone can spend hundreds of hours making something, like the paintings you see in a museum, and the people walking by can take a 3-second look at it, get nothing much from it, move on and completely forget about even seeing it very quickly. But this doesn't mean the art isn't good. To feel and appreciate what went into making art, there is a simple truth to reflect on. Art isn't always easy to make, let alone finish. Art takes emotion, accuracy, creativity, skill development, and in many cases can take a lot of time. Simply thinking about these factors can make us experience art more deeply, because it means we are taking the extra time to acknowledge its multi-layered nature. Nowadays, it's easy to underappreciate what we see when we have such an abundance of access to it. There is so much art we have free access to. If you type any word into Google and write the word art next to it, hundreds and thousands of pictures come up, many of which are so skillfully made and so creative, yet we can scroll through and hardly take note of any of them that much. We scroll and swipe from one image to the next, almost mindlessly these days. But sometimes, once in a while, a piece catches our attention effortlessly. We look at it longer and it seems to just resonate with us. This is because our conscious and subconscious tastes always affect our perception and determine whether we feel connected to something. So, some pieces will always connect to us more powerfully than others. Here's an example. Maybe I really like the color orange. So when I go into an art gallery, I might be drawn to a painting that has more orange in it than the others. Maybe a scene in one of the paintings reminds me of a memory that I cherish, and so if I can afford it or I can find a copy being sold somewhere, I buy the art and it goes on my wall. Out of the hundreds or even thousands of people who saw this painting actually wanted to buy it. It's a given that we see and like different things. That's fine, and that's how it is for the most part. So yes, some artist somewhere has already probably made something that deeply resonates with us. We just have to be lucky enough to find it. And when we are lucky enough to find it, it's like magic. But even if we don't have an immediate connection or reaction to something, sometimes it just takes more attention. For example, have you ever noticed that you pay more attention to art when a purchase is involved? Like, if we're looking for a gift, we spend longer looking at a piece. We hold our focus more. Same thing can happen at a gallery tour, for example. Maybe because we paid for it and want to get the most out of it. By focusing in more and trying to feel what we're looking at, we can start to see new aspects and details to a piece, even if we've seen it many times before. By seeing new aspects, you deepen your experience with it. It's a sort of willed altered state from a willingness to connect. Really trying to be present with something is the key to growing an acquired taste and potentially deepening our experience with so much more of what we see. An acquired taste is an appreciation for something unlikely to be enjoyed by a person who has not had substantial exposure to it. It is the opposite of innate taste, which is the appreciation for things that are enjoyable by most persons without prior exposure to them. Imagine this: you're stuck in a basic room with no gadgets and you cannot leave this room indefinitely. Chances are you will learn to explore and pay more attention to what's around you, simply because you want to experience something other than boredom and feeling stuck. That kind of situation can trigger you to start exploring your own imagination too. You have this inside-out experience of wanting to connect to something, to enjoy it. This is because you are in a situation where you can only make the most of the present moment. You learn to make the most of the place you're stuck in, and in your own mind. At some point, you probably had the experience of being on the toilet without your phone. As you sit there, you might start staring at the walls and cracks and start to notice various patterns and shapes. Or you might just have a chat with yourself in your own mind and start thinking about all sorts of random things. Congratulations, you've created your own fun. Next time you're out of the toilet, Imagine applying that same level of engagement to what surrounds you, as though all there is you and the thing you're looking at. Learning to appreciate different forms of art and beauty in life is a skill and very much a conscious habit that can be practiced anywhere, and it has the power to make many things in your life much more interesting. You just look at things and decide to go on a conscious adventure. This video is the first of a 2-part series. Stay tuned for part 2, where I'll be talking about if there is any point of making new art in a world full of known and unknown artists already. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing if you like the content, and maybe share it with a friend, and comment what you think down below.